Hi there, all you makeup fans. I am now doing my 6th entry for the Are You Fierce makeup contest, and you can see this one's going to be a fantasy look. Now, one of the things I did when I was younger, I collected comic books, specifically the superhero ones. Batman, Superman, and then we get into the Marvel heroes such as Iron Man and the Avengers with the Scarlet Witch. And I really enjoyed doing that when I was younger, and in fact I still have some of my comic books, and several of them are worth quite a bit of money right now. But I always thought it was kind of neat, the superhero characters they came up with and the names and everything. And so this look was kind of inspired by that. And some of the people I work with at the store, around Halloween time, we always say we're going to dress up in the store, and I allow my employees to do that if they wish. And last year I came up with this really great name for a superhero, but unfortunately I came up with it too close to Halloween, and I had no way to make the costume. Just didn't have time. But anyway, the name of my superhero, it's actually a superheroine, was named Firestorm. And the only thing I had clear about Firestorm was, first of all, her colors were the colors of fire: red, yellow, and orange. And her superpower had to do with being able to generate flame from her fingertips, from just her whole body. She could generate and throw flames. And one of my employees at that store, her husband is a cartoonist. He's an artist, and he does caricatures, and she had brought in some caricatures that he did of her and their children, and he had turned them all into superheroes, and they each had a special superpower. And I thought the caricatures were really cool. And when I came up with this name, for my superheroine, I asked my employee if she could give him that name and he could render a drawing from that. Alas, I was transferred to another store before he got the drawing done, but Firestorm has stuck in my mind, and I said, one day I would like to try to do something with that, because it's so clear in my mind. It just seems like I never have time to pursue it. So anyway, this look is kind of a first take on maybe what the faceplate would look like for my heroine. So we're going to go ahead and get started, and this is definitely going to be a long video because this has gotten a little involved. Of course, I started primer on my face, and actually I put primer all the way up on my forehead and all the way down into the cheek area, as well as the lids, because I knew I was going to be putting makeup on those areas and pigments, and I need those colors to stay nice and bright. The next thing I did, I went ahead and darkened my brows with my dark brown eyeshadow. I may decide to go over it with black. I'll just have to kind of see the look as it progresses. And then I took a black eyeliner pencil and drew the shape of my mask. Okay. I also drew some lines here on my lids so that I could kind of differentiate the color and where I wanted them to be placed. And then I drew some stylized frames going around, flames going around the eye area here. And you see I've already got the flames colored in with, and I've used a combination of pigments and eyeshadow and a little bit of mixing medium. Now what I did, I applied the mixing medium to my skin first, and then while the area was still damp, went ahead and put on the eyeshadow and the pigment so it would stick a little better in such a large area. And this is what I've come up with. Eyeshadow and pigment colors that I am using for this are Basic Red Pigment, which is a matte pigment by MAC. There's no shine there. I am using Chick, which is a very bright yellow by NYX. I am using Rice Paper by MAC. That was kind of an underlayer over my primer just to kind of even out the color. And then this is a discontinued color by Physicians Formula. I believe it was called Orange, but you can see it's kind of a pumpkin orange color. Unfortunately, I don't have a really bright orange color, so this would have to do. Now, what I did first, I went all over the lid using my red pigment by MAC. And I used a flat brush to do so. And then some of the flame areas surrounding my eyes I also filled in with the red pigment. And now with this being a matte color, I just kind of pressed it in all over the lid and in the inner corner here, extending up over the crease line. And I'm really not stroking it on, I am really pressing it in. Because the color seems to adhere better if I press as opposed to rub it in, and they seem to stay more vibrant. This is particularly true with matte colors, colors with no shimmer. And then as I got closer to the drawn line, I went in with an angle brush like this, took a little more pigment and worked it up right to the line. And you can see I'm having problems with my pigment sticking a little bit here in the inner corner area. There we go. I'm trying not to cover the black guidelines that I have. Of course, if I do, I can always go back in and darken them and touch them up. But I would prefer not to have to do that, because invariably it seems that if I have to do that, I never get the lines drawn back in exactly where I had them the first time. And then I have a little more mess to clear up. Now I also, after I did the upper lid, I took that angled brush and I went just under the lower lash line, pressing it in right up under the lower lash. And on into the inner corner. Make sure to get it around the tear duct. Just like so. Once that was done, I cleaned off my angled brush and I went into the burnt orange by Physicians Formula. And this part right here, I filled that in with the orange. Again, the angled brush just allows me to get into these small detail areas a little more easily. You can use any small brush that gives you good control to fill in your area. And again, I'm just pressing the color on, I'm not rubbing it. Like so. Clean brush off again. I'm going into the chick yellow for this area up in here. Now, chick does have a little bit of a shimmer to it. And first I'm going to put it under the brow just so I don't get color into my brow. Then I just work it along the line I have sketched in and down into the inner corner. Turn my bristles straight up and down so that I can get into that inner corner. And then if you see this eye, it's kind of squared off with the end of my brow. So I'm going to take my brush, kind of make a line there, the inside of my nose, and fill that all the way in. Picked up a little more color, and again fill in Just pressing the color on and placing it. Just very definite placement. There we go. And I will pause this, wipe my brushes off really good, and I will come back and we'll continue.